I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox Reviews and Watches Live episode 13. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, it's appropriate enough that tonight's show focuses on the native language of love, German. That's right. Tonight we're talking German watches. Nothing quite says, Hallo und willkommen zu unserer Show, quite like a combination of a.lange Söhne, Glashütte Original, and NOMOS. We've even got a token IWC thrown in there for the German speakers of Schaffhausen, Switzerland. I'd like to thank everyone who is joining us tonight in the chat box. I can see we've already got quite a crew. Eddie Landsberg, Matt Foster, Adam J. Odell. What is up, Adam? Watch Yoda, Alexi, Tom P. Russell 996. Guys, welcome. Obviously, tonight, the topic is German watches. We're also giving away lots of free stuff that is, appropriately enough, branded as per our German inflection of the evening. So we've got stuff to give away, and this is how it works. If you've joined us before, you've sent me your name, your phone number, and your physical mailing address to tim@thewatchbox.com, you're already entered. But if you haven't, send tim@thewatchbox.com, your real name, your phone number, and your mailing address, so I can hopefully draw your name to win something cool. For example, a loupe, a polishing cloth, and a German-made Glashütte Original commemorative pen. So let's roll out into the testing zone tonight. Proper nomenclature, I suppose, for someone who's a German car fan, and I am. I'm one of those fanboys who had like the sticker in the shape of the Nürburgring Nordschleife with like the German flag colors on the window of his Audi back in the day. So welcome, guys, and thanks for joining us. Do we have any friends joining us from Germany tonight? You'll be our guest of honor. Okay, first things first, when you think of German watches in this day and age, there's one name that, quite frankly, does rise above the rest, and that's a.lange Söhne. Reestablished in 1990, the company is open about the fact that it was reestablished by the last major scion of the Lange family, the late Walter Lange. It is not the uninterrupted continuity of the firm originally founded in 1845, but the bottom line is, with quality like this and already iconic models like the Lange 1, you could be forgiven for thinking their line dates back quite a good deal longer. So this is one of the 4 watches originally unveiled in late 1994 at Dresden Castle by Günter Blümlein, Helmut Note, and Walter Lange. Originally, it was the Arcade, the Pour le Mérite Tourbillon, the Saxonia, and the Lange 1. And today, this is the icon of the brand. With Lange, the 38.5mm Lange 1 in yellow gold is the quintessential, essential, if you only own one timepiece. So just to give you an idea, if you were thinking of something like an Audemars Piguet 15202, the extra thin Royal Oak Jumbo, Patek Philippe 5196 Calatrava, an Omega Speedmaster Professional, or perhaps a Breitling Navitimer or a Rolex Sub, that's where this watch stands in the pantheon of German watches, and specifically in the Lange catalog. Now, look at this movement carefully, because if we can get a little bit closer, Garrett, see if you can get sharp on that. This is what really defined what we call Glashütte movement style today. None of these conventions were established in 1990 when Lange rose from the ashes of communism. But now you can see what we call Glashütte style, the 3/4 style bridge that recalls 19th century Saxon pocket watches, the unplated German silver or nickel copper zinc that has a rich golden hue, Glashütte stripes, and of course, perhaps the most iconic individual component, the hand-engraved half bridge. No two exactly alike. That's not guilloche, that's freehand engraving. Can we get a little bit sharper on it? Perfect, now you can see it. That's freehand engraving, and if you take your watch back to Saxony, to Glashütte, they will tell you which one of their artisans actually carved that individual component. 3-day power reserve, twin mainspring barrels. You can actually see the jewels of the train and the barrels are set in chaton fixed by screws. This was necessary in the pocket watch era to precisely place the jewels in the bridge and also ease servicing. Today it's done because it's beautiful and beautifully traditional. If you look closely, you'll see both blued screws and polished screws. With Lange, blued screws are for fixing components in place. Polished screws are for adjusting the mechanism. All right, I'm going to pick a winner. We're getting underway here, and I can see already quite a few folks are sending us their contact. And we're going to pick our first winner of the night. And our first winner of the night is Bob Boyd of Katy, Texas. Congratulations, Bob. You are winning my Glashütte Original, or Original, because we are trying to get everything right tonight. Glashütte Original starter kit. So what do you get? Well, you get a Umo German pen, Geo branded, as you can see. A beautiful piece that weighs a ton. This is a quality pen. Even the cartridge is made in Germany. You're getting a beautiful custom loop. As you can see, it's a combination of wood and leather, nicely stitched, better to appreciate watches from the fatherland. And of course, a custom branded polishing cloth, because after all, a great watch deserves a cloth to match. Okay, we're not quite there. We're not quite to Geo just yet. We're going to get to that brand. We're not done with Lange. Let them have their due. Okay, so moving back to tonight's topics, I do want to remind you guys this is an interactive show, and I'll be communicating with you guys through the chat box. Ask me questions, give me comments, forward your feedback. This show remains a work in progress and a grand experiment for all of us. Tyler J. checking in from Manhattan. I can see Tom Hung is here. Almeric joining us. Edward Ledden from Sweden, just north of Germany. And of course, John H. joining us from Montana in the American heartland. All right, moving on to a watch that came not too long after the Lange one. It was only 5 years later we first saw the datograph. Well, this is the 2012 to present datograph up-down. It's a datograph that is, let me show you a little bit more closely. It's different in a few respects. First and foremost, it's bigger. 41 versus 39 millimeters, but it also has the characteristic power reserve, now tracing a 60 to 65 hour power reserve rather than the 36 hours of the original datograph. Of course, the watch has a slightly different layout and a slightly different look, but what has not changed is the caliber of the caliber. A big, slow-beating balance, 18,000 vibrations per hour. You can see the quality of Lange finish. Now, this is why there is no $10,000 Lange. This is why they have a single layer of, or a single level of finish. And when you pay more, you get more complexity. You don't get better finish. So the nice thing about Lange is because they do have that integrity about how the watches are finished, it doesn't matter if you're buying a Lange 1 or you're buying a datograph. You can see the same level of finish and attention to detail in both. The only difference is that you're paying to get more complication when you buy the dato. But look, all the traditions are respected. You have German silver in both. You have screws fixing jewel set chaton. You have hand-engraved half bridges for the balance. Absolutely gorgeous. This is integrity, and this is why people love that small manufacturer from Glashütte. All right. Comments coming through. Philip Sebastian. Don Gizzle, 615, joining us from Germany. Appropriately enough, you caught our German watch show. Now, I should mention that one of the great pleasures, let me actually see if I can grab a polishing cloth because I feel bad. Oh, well, I guess we may have to do without. You know what? Forgive me, Bob. I'm going to use yours for a moment. I should mention that one of the great pleasures in all of luxury horology is actuating a datograph. The column wheel architecture, and I'm going to show you how this works because you can see the interaction of the levers and the column wheel. It feels like $1 million. It is so crisp, so refined. I'm not going to say it's like a rifle bolt because it doesn't have the severity of that. It feels like what it is, watchmaking at the level of virtuosity. You feel it, you hear it, you see it. And guys, you can also see the lateral clutch moving in and out. There's a reason why top-end Lange and Patek still use the lateral clutch in spite of the efficiency of the vertical system. It's more beautiful, and it keeps no secrets from the owner. And of course, it's important to remember that the datograph, though we don't often mention it, is a flyback chronograph. Reset and restart with a single push. By the way, guys, that dial is a silver base that has been galvanized black. All right. I see Kiki Fries. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Welcome, guys. This is our German show. Willkommen. And thank you for joining us. All right. Let's move on to a variation on the Lange 1. This is properly the original Grand Lange 1 case size in the watch that endures to this day as the Lange 1 time zone. Now, if you're familiar with your Patek Philippe world times, this is a little bit more involved. There's more to it. There's 2 mainspring barrels, a 3-day power reserve. There's that glorious outsized date. And this is the nice thing. Every Lange with the outsized date and the pusher adjuster gives you some of the pleasure of actuating a datograph. Now, this watch is platinum, but remember, you get the same grand date and pusher adjuster in the 38mm yellow gold Lange 1. So actuating that pusher adjuster for the grand date, and I'm going to spill the beans a little bit, that date was actually Jaeger-LeCoultre's original patent. They came back and created another one after giving the patent to Lange. But you can see that it is a world time that is all coordinated, and here's how this works. You place your reference city at the white gold index adjacent to the reference time zone. And as you travel, the watch does the math for you. There's actually a 67-component subassembly on top of the Lange 1 movement that performs that operation. And you'll note, unique for a travel watch, day-night indicators for both time zones. Of course, you've got the same level of finish, but to a higher standard here, in that both half bridges are hand engraved. You can see the intermediate wheel with a beautiful florid, almost biomorphic spoke pattern, and then you can see the second engraving on the balance cock proffer. This is an awesome watch. It feels incredibly heavy in the hand. All of platinum. Remember, in 2011, the Grand Lange 1 got smaller, 1mm. This is the original 41.9mm size. All in platinum, it's an absolute pleasure and true stealth wealth. All white metal on the wrist. I dare say, it's even silver, the German racing color, for good measure. All right. So we have a comment from one of our viewers saying he's been waiting for this show. The chat box is moving so fast, I'm having trouble keeping up with it right here. Kiki Fry is saying the Lange 1 is a classic, but he really likes the Richard Lange family personally. We have phenomenal engagement. You guys joining in. I can see Jordan V, Marco, Todd Piasecki. I like watches, Peter K, watch lover in Hawaii, one of our previous Watches Live winners. Mash Ala Kali, Jogbird, Brian Duffy, welcome aboard. Now, we've got a lot more on the table tonight. I see Hachi Zenki saying, Lange is worth the price delta over Geo. We've got some Geo on the table tonight that will make you reconsider that statement. Let's not forget, Glashütte Original is the original a Lange Söhne from 1845. That is the continuous corporate continuity from the original Lange through the GUB of the communist eras to Glashütte Original. It's by dispensation that the current Lange uses the name. Okay, so right here we have Richard Lenny saying, hi Tim, and we have a question from Edward Ledden. Is Lange popular in Russia? I don't necessarily know. I'm sure they sell a fair number, but they don't seem to make watches that appeal to the Russian aesthetic sensibility, which tends to be big and colored gold. Sure, they've got some watches that fit that description, but it's not really the corporate signature at Lange. Now, a watch I want to bring to your attention because it is beautiful and it is stunningly awesome. This is the Lange Zeitwerk Striking Time. 2009, we first saw the Zeitwerk, digital jumping minutes, and in 2011, we got the first striking watch from Lange and the Zeitwerk line. Now, striking watches have been Patek Philippe's domain historically, and I think you can argue to this day it's one of the few true bastions of Patek's superiority over Lange. Well, this is where Lange chiming watches started, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how this works. It's a jumping minute, yes, it's a jumping hour, but it also features a limited striking capability. Remember, this was Lange getting its start, and I want to show you how you adjust a Zeitwerk. But we're going to adjust this right to the cusp of 5 o'clock. This watch strikes on the quarter and it strikes on the hour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it right up to the cusp of 5 o'clock. Now today we do have the Zeitwerk minute repeater, which is a full-blown 700-part on-demand minute repeating timepiece. This is not quite that, but it is lovely and sonorous and memorable in its own way. By the way, guys, this is a 44.2 versus the original Zeitwerk's 42. So this is a bigger, bolder Zeitwerk. Okay. Can we get close? Close as possible? And that's what this watch does. This is the Zeitwerk striking time, and that's why it's distinct from a minute repeater. So if you buy it, I want you to know what you're getting. What I love is the combination of the time bridge featuring jump hours, jump minutes, and obviously the digital display of both, moving in sync with the striking of the black polished hammers. And you can see that the gong actually encircles the front of the watch. So though the Zeitwerk remains all about the reverse side, nevertheless, this is one of the few that actually features just as much action on the front side. Now you can see this is the famed Zeitwerk constant force, and this is the constant force device right here. It actually takes the power, which moves downstream from the barrel. There's actually an air brake built in, and then there is a double third wheel with a hairspring between them that acts as a remontoir d'égalité. And you'll actually see the mechanism operating, there it is right there, as the watch jumps the minute. The air brake slows down the process and allows the power to be transferred to the remontoir d'égalité more evenly and less chaotically. The power is used upstream to jump the minutes first, and you can see the stop works on the barrel. Winding a Zeitwerk, because of the strength of the mainspring, is almost like winding a pocket watch. Let me actually wind it right next to my lav. You should be able to hear it. It's like cranking a Mack truck. It's like turning over a big diesel truck. That's how stiff it is, but it feels and sounds phenomenal. This is a great pleasure to wind, and with a power reserve of 36 hours, you're going to be winding it every day. Okay. I can see guys coming into the chat right now. Alexi joining us, Mad K, Sebastian Palacios. I can see we have commentary. Okay. So I have Red Bull not totally happy with customer service. Red Bull, tim@thewatchbox.com. Reach out to me directly, okay? We want to make you happy. We want to make sure that anything that we've done wrong in the past, we acknowledge, we fix, and we make better than good. Reach out to me, tim@thewatchbox.com. I'm here for you, as is our whole team. Okay, so now we talked a little bit about Geo. Obviously, many German watch brands today, more and more every year it seems, and great ones at that. But we are talking about the two most established today. So we're going to go to Geo, and look, you don't need a fortune to buy a German watch. It's not all grand complications, precious metal, and Lange. Right here, we have the original modern Saxon watchmaker in Glashütte Original. This is the 60s panorama date. It is the Panorama Datum, or outsized date. Now this watch is 42 millimeters with a galvanized sunburst blue dial that's actually made in Geo's own factory in Pforzheim, Germany. So they make their dials, they have a tool making school in-house, so they make the tools that make their watches. Now you see, I mentioned the GUB, or the collectivized watch. It was sort of a collectivized state watch firm under the communist East Germans. They still stamp the movements that date from the 90s and before, GUB, so there's a little bit of that heritage there. But today, Glashütte Original making every part of the watch and doing so beautifully. This is a watch that you can pick up pre-owned for under $7,000. And I want to emphasize that this is a watch that looks like $1 million. It has that gorgeous off-axis vintage distortion of a plexi with the scratch resistance of a sapphire. 42 millimeters with a polished steel case, a manufacture movement that's beautifully distinctive, and again, relatively low operating costs from a company that does it all in-house with a real pedigree and a real history dating back to 1845. Now that's one of our more accessible options on the table, but we're going to take a brief detour across town here, and I'm going to remind you just how affordable a German-made watch can be. Because right here we have the NOMOS Orion, and NOMOS Glashütte, formed in 1994, was part of the bumper crop of post-Soviet watch brands that arose in East Germany. Now this watch is 39 millimeters round with strong lugs. I would say more than anything else, these lugs remind me of an early 1960s Hoyer Carrera. Now you'll note the dial is handsome with appliques in yellow gold with blue baton-style hands and a sunken sub-register. On the back, Now this right here is a manufacturer caliber, 43-hour power reserve, featuring the NOMOS swing system, and you can see a full balance bridge. It's not a sports watch caliber, but it is fairly robust. This is designed to be your everyday watch. Now, 5 ATM water resistance means that you're going to want to look at other options should you wish to take the plunge. But with a handsome size that's unisex viable, an in-house automatic 43-hour caliber from the DUW or Deutsche Ehrenwerk, in-house escapement, in-house assortment, in-house movement, hairspring, and balance family. This is a lot of watch for under $3,000 pre-owned. This right here, this might be my favorite watch on the table for the money tonight. NOMOS Tetra. This is a watch that is way off the beaten path in that it's both German and non-round. Now it features the same DUW 3001 all in-house caliber that you just saw on the Orion, but it's in a case that is 31.5 by 31.5 millimeters square. The watch is handsome, it's quirky, it's offbeat, and if you look closely, it's even colorful. This is the thing about NOMOS. They do subtlety and they need to be appreciated at close range. Look at the fluted profile of these Art Deco lugs. It's almost redolent of something you would have seen in Fritz Lang's Metropolis. You can see the handsome character of that lightly granular matte silver dial and the combination of the silver, the black, the red, and the blue. This is a watch that's designed for fun. It's unpretentious. It's beautifully made. It has an impeccable pedigree. And again, it's all NOMOS, inside and out. A great watch that you can buy for under $3,000 that has style in any crowd and real horological cred with watch nerds who know. Okay, back to the chat box. Let's pick a winner. Okay, question from Valblitz. Is it true NOMOS calibers are on the fragile side? The early ones around 2005 to 2009, they were learning how to make a movement. Today, especially the DUW 3001 and the like that we have here with the full balance bridge, several years of experience building them. And, you know, let's be honest, a couple of in-house revisions of the NOMOS swing system escapement and assortment, they're much tougher now. None of them are Rolex 3135, 3235, or something like a JLC 770. Those are tough on a different level, but then again, most NOMOS timepieces are not sports watches, so you have to take that into consideration. Anywhere you could wear something like a JLC Master Control or an IWC Portuguese Chronograph automatic, you could wear a NOMOS. I would say the only time you want to watch out is when you're wearing something like the Lambda or the Lux, which is precious metal. Okay, and I see Alexi is saying, I have a Platinum Saxonia that I got from my father and a Speedy looking for a Rolex Batman. Well, you're going to continue looking because we've got no Rolex on the table tonight, but we are going to pick a winner from our field. Okay, folks, this is how this works. I'm taking names out of my raffle pot. The raffle is tim@thewatchbox.com. Send your real name, phone number, and mailing address so I can give you a gift from the table tonight. All right, let's give something away. Bum, 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 bum. And John H. of Fort Polk, Louisiana. I don't know, is it rainy down there? Well, if it is, we've got a Glashütte Original umbrella for you. A wonderful way to stay dry by the bayou down in Louisiana. This is a handsome piece, and I gotta say, this is better than a gift umbrella. I'm a little bit jealous that I'm giving this to you because frankly, I kinda wanted to keep it myself. Even the cover is customized. This is a wonderful way to ride out the winter months. You know, you don't get big snows down there in the American South, but if you do get the occasional rain, this will keep you nice and dry through the April showers that bring the May flowers. Okay. So, John, congratulations. Remember, guys, if you've won before, you can win again. If you've already entered in a previous episode, you're already in the pot for the raffle, so you don't need to send me 40 emails. It doesn't mean you're 40 times more likely to win. A guy actually did that. True story. All right, jumping back to the live chat tonight. Right here, Kiki Fry is asking, I wonder if Tim has Oris on the table. I was so going to do an Oris. They're German-speaking Swiss, and I'm sorry, I can only do about 15 watches tonight. So if I had Oris, if I had Fortis, if I had a bunch of IWC, if I had Zeitwinkel, I mean, I could go on and on and on. I could have Moser. I could do a whole show on Moser. And I will. That's in the works. But tonight, I'm focusing on our mainstream German brands. Also, Ryan M. joining us saying, great subject. I hope I can live up to the promise of it. And I can see Captain Z joining in. I can see Eric S., Eric Slofer. Will you give away a nice watch? I will be giving away a watch. And you know what? It probably will be an Ulysse. So you guys tell me which Ulysse you would like to see me give away. I'm leaning Aquas for versatility. Also, I can see I Like Watches saying, I'm thinking of a Saxonia 37mm, but it would really stretch the budget maybe next year. Because the Saxonia was the first, it was one of those first 4 longer references in 1994. Dresden Castle won, they only had like 400 odd units to sell that day. But it means there are some older ones, some of them even have the grand date. So older ones in yellow gold can occasionally be picked up under $10,000, just under 10. If you could pick up a Lange Saxonia with the grand date or the Panorama Datum for, you know, Rolex GMT money, I would so do that and not look back. Lange, unlike most luxury watches in the modern era, looks great in yellow gold. I don't want to monopolize the show with Lange, and I want to remind you guys that GO itself, Glashütte Original, can do absolute top-end watchmaking. Now this is the Pano Tourbillon XL. It's a watch that originally debuted at Basel World 2007, and it shows just how much the other watchmaker from Saxony can achieve. Now that is a diamond capstone atop a filigree-style flying tourbillon with Breguet overcoil. This is a manual wind 48-hour caliber. Can we maybe get the tourbillon in focus? There we go. This is a caliber 4101. 21,600 vibrations per hour, absolutely gorgeous, black polished filigree style wire tourbillon cage. This is a watch that is surprisingly practical. At 42mm, you can see it has both a date, a power reserve, a tourbillon, and delta hands with loom. That's right, this watch is loomed. And I guess I'm probably misusing the word both when I add 4 features. But I want to emphasize just how beautiful this piece is. 35 rubies and 2 diamonds in a movement that is entirely hand-finished in a case that is entirely white gold. You can see those gorgeous double spirals on the wheels of the winding train. Nice and slim in profile. 42 is a good size for this watch, and the dial is absolutely to die for, with white gold appliques along the dial at 6 o'clock and those 2 white gold hands tracing the retrograde style date and the power reserve. This is pretty good. This will rival the best from Lange. Now this is a watch that you will also buy for under $60,000 pre-owned today versus an original 2007 retail of $127,000. So if GO is underestimated, let that be to your advantage when shopping. Okay. Now, there's a watch on the table tonight that I must say, and I regret to inform you, casts shade on every Jaeger-LeCoultre Memovox ever made. In 2010, this watch literally blew my mind. Seriously, there's gray matter still spattered along my old apartment because of the Senator Diary. Now, let me see if I can fire it up and give you a listen before I give you a look. Now, what's special about this watch is that it lets you set, and this is a white gold example, caliber 100, 55-hour power reserve. As you can see, automatic winding, nicely hand finished. This is one of the upscale watches. You can buy this one for under $20,000. You can buy the steel version for under $15,000 pre-owned. But you have a dial where you can actually set 31 days in advance your alarm, and then you have a sub-dial where you can set the alarm in a 24-hour format. So if you want to set this watch to go off at 1 o'clock in the morning, 31 days in advance, you can do that. This is the most advanced, and if you encounter an irregular length month, you can actually adjust, and the watch will correspond the setting of the alarm to the jump of the date. Remember, this is the date that you set here, not the number of days in advance. So if you do change the date and you have to correct for an irregular length month, the watch makes the adjustment to the date and the time you set. Beautifully executed. Like I said, this is a watch that really casts shade on everything that Breguet, Blancpan, Jaeger-LeCoultre, and Vulcain have ever made in the alarm watch class. The fact that you get a robust amount of hand finishing, including a black polished swan's neck regulator and black polished screws, is really the icing on the cake, or maybe the cherry on the ice cream. This is about as good as it gets in alarms, and remember, only Geo does this. You can get it rose gold, you can get it in white gold, or you can get it in steel. I love precious metal, and I love white metals, so I would get it just like this in white gold. Okay, so we can see guys coming out from the woodwork to join us tonight. I can see Yulung, I can see Mads K, I can see Russell Washington, High and Rising, Eric Nielsen joining us, and I can see Pastor Ant joining us too. Accidentally maximized my screen right there. I can also see right here, Alexi saying, please monopolize the show with Lange. Wouldn't I love to? Eric Nielsen would add that most Sin chronographs are very thick. I wish I could have Sin and Tudema, Union Glashütte, which was kind of the junior brand of Glashütte Original. I would love to do like several German watch shows. Believe me, this will happen. Rest assured. If you don't see your favorite on the table tonight, it's coming. Now, in 2009, we first saw the Senator Chronometer. This is a watch that, as you can see, combines a dial with a gorgeous pebble-like granular varnish. Again, Geo with their four-time dial factory is doing incredible things with a LMET SLME German chronometer certificate. Now watch what happens to both the seconds hand and the minute hand when I pull the crown. You've heard of hacking seconds? Well, watch the ultimate version. Did you see that? It synchronizes to the minute and it synchronizes to the second when you stop the seconds. Even better, as you adjust it, it indexes in 1 minute jumps, so you can set the watch precisely against a reference time. This is unbelievable stuff. Frankly, I don't understand how Geo can create alarm watches like that Senator Diary and chronometers like this Senator Chronometer and not absolutely set the pace for everyone else in the industry. Frankly, once a watch like this has been done, I don't understand how anyone else can get away with doing it otherwise. Rose gold with a beautiful sort of intermediate between rose and yellow. This is a handsome pale colored gold. And of course you have that gorgeous marine chronometer style power reserve at 12 o'clock. Now you turn it over and it's just as beautiful. Caliber 58 is entirely hand finished. My favorite part is this hand finished double spiral that's part of the winding train. This is actually the click wheel. And then you can see this gorgeous planetary apparatus on top of the barrel. Twin mainspring barrels, extended power reserve, 44 hours, completely hand-engraved half bridge for the balance with black polished cock for the escape wheel and black polished swan's neck. And as you turn it through the light, you can actually see the screws are both blued in certain cases and black polished. This watch with both. This is as good as it gets in East German watchmaking, and I dare say this sets the pace for Switzerland. Switzerland, what's your response? All of that said, and this is why I didn't want Lange to monopolize the show, because Geo has so much to offer, including in complications, including in the haute de gamme. In 2007, they showed a dummy prototype at Basel World of something that was not yet functional. The next year, in 2008, they showed this. This is the Senator Rattrapant, a split-seconds chronograph, 42 millimeters in platinum. This is one of 100 made. You can see that gorgeous onyx cabochon in the crown. And of course, split-second action on a gorgeous matte anthracite dial. The color of this just zings me. So does the palm-style hand for the hour and the assegai spear hand for the minute. I love watching the flyback action. I love the crisp actuation of not one, but two column wheels. Again, you've got that hand-engraved half-bridge, you've got everything, Glashütte stripes. You've got pivot jewels set in screw-fixed chaton, multiple layers of bridges, levers, wheels, screws, and pivots. You've got an engine-turned perlage across that beautifully bare main plate to appreciate, hand-finished at the highest level. For me, this is pretty much as good as it gets, and I have to say that someone who decides to pass on a datograph would not be disappointed if he decided to go with this instead. For me, this is Geo at its best, aesthetically excellent, understated in its way, but the closer you get, the more personality it has. And again, I think this is a viable alternative to a datograph, especially the 41mm datograph up-down, to someone of the proper persuasion, someone who's open-minded and willing to go for something other than the crowd favorite. I also think it's a legit alternative to any Patek Philippe 5170. That or any 5170, I'm going with that, even over the Diamond Baguette Index Platinum version from last year. Okay. Tim, what is your favorite geo? This is from Pastor Ant Jr. You know what? My favorite geo, without any hesitation, is the Senator Diary. The alarm watch for me is the ultimate complication. The alarm watch is a combination of a travel companion, a daily reminder, an interaction with your watch that goes above and beyond winding and setting the time. It's a watch with, in a way, two heartbeats. There is the escapement and then there's the chime. And the Senator Diary is the best alarm watch in existence. It has only one rival that I haven't mentioned, and that is the Ulysse Nardin Sonata, which is the minute repeater of alarms. But you know what that can't do? That can't set you a 4 a.m. alarm for next month. This is a watch that has unique capability. It's very rare in horology you can say something has been done for the first time in a wristwatch, or that it's the only one of its kind, but in both instances that is true of the Senator Diary. It is the one I would buy for myself, and I would buy this version in white gold with nubuck leather strap, nubuck alligator leather. I would buy it without any second thoughts if I were not still working on a minute repeater for my JLC collection. Oh, right. I have a comment from Sebastian. Loud alarm. It does have a voice, and it's a nice bright tone. It's not a strike against the case type of alarm. It has a hanging chime that's separate from the case. And I can see Joshua P is saying, looks thick. Joshua, it is a thick watch, there's no doubt. But you know what? It will slide underneath most cuffs. The tightest of dress sleeves, I can't say. If you like to strangle your wrist, you might not make it, but that is a surprisingly versatile and compact watch considering what's in there. Hachi Zenki saying, German watches in general other than NOMOS are thick. Don't underestimate what Lange can do with the Saxonia, especially the Saxonia Thin. Okay, now I want to give a shout out to a watch that, to be perfectly honest, almost doesn't belong on the table, but it's a special one and a historic reference. In 2000, IWC, Bob, I'm going to borrow your polishing cloth one more time. IWC launched the Portuguese automatic reference 5000. 3 editions, steel in 1,000 pieces, rose gold in 750, and platinum in 250. This is that first run of 1,000 in steel. That's right. This is part of the first 2,000 Portuguese automatic caliber 5000s. And it is so rare to see the original version of this movement. We're not used to seeing the non-free-sprung architecture. We're not used to seeing it beat at 18,000 vibrations per hour. This watch ran for only 3 model years. It is exceptionally scarce. Note how clean it is without the date of the 5001. A beautiful and simple dial with a loving reference to IWC's Portuguese heritage in the form of a true plexiglass crystal. That's right, it's got a thermoplastic crystal that's beautiful, domed and distorting. A handsome watch with so much character and far better dial balance than the date. While I love dates, this is a rare occasion where I can say this inverse panda absolutely slays, and I do believe that a date would ruin it. And like the Zeitwerk, this one's an absolute pleasure to wind. The first 2000 Portuguese automatic reference 5000. This is a historic piece for an IWC collector. Why is it here tonight? Well, because IWC Schaffhausen is probably the most accomplished watchmaker deep in German-Swiss territory. Yes, Rolex's movement factory in Biel, and yes, Omega's headquarters in Biel could both be construed as German, but Biel-Bien is kind of on the schism line between French and Swiss-German watchmaking. IWC in Schaffhausen to the east leaves no doubt. A great piece of German-Swiss watchmaking with a 7-day manual or automatic wound power reserve. That movement is 38.2 millimeters across, which means the caliber in this giant is bigger than a standard Rolex Datejust. Don't you love that big, slow-beating balance wheel? Okay, let's pick a winner. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Great. I got a guy asking me a question in the middle of a drawing. Dude, send me your name and your mailing address. You would have won. Okay. Okay. So, dun, 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 dun. Okay. Trey H., you need to send me your name, your phone number, and your mailing address. I can't email you a gift, guys. That's how it works. Tim@thewatchbox.com. Send me your name, your phone number, and your real mailing address. Okay, Anthony Brandon Jr., you have won. What have you won? You've won this awesome Glashütte Original notebook. Custom on the inside, custom embossed on the outside. Congratulations. From Baselworld to me to you, Glashütte Original memo notebook with an awesome automatic winding caliper embossed on the front. Okay, guys, let's keep the names coming. Remember, your name, your phone number, and your physical mailing address. I can't send it through the net connection. All right. Live comments and questions coming through. Sebastian Palacios saying that IWC looks great. Jordan V asking, what is the price of the IWC? The price of the IWC, I believe, is just under $9,900. That's obviously a pre-owned watch, full disclosure. It's not new old stock. So just under $9,900. A hell of a lot of watchmaking and a historic piece for IWC for, quite frankly, real world money. This is steel Rolex money, and you can get something that is so much more interesting. And more comments coming through. Sebastian Palacios, from now on, I will look on German watches in a totally different way. They are truly amazing, fantastic finishing, simplicity in operation, classic dial and case design, and maximum complicated movement content. Joshua Polanski saying dates are very tricky to place on the dial. I usually tend toward non-dates because of the ill placement. Well, that Portuguese 5000 is for you. But like I said, I want to focus on watches you can buy for real world money. Now, once you've spent more than $1,000 US on a watch, most people are going to think you're crazy. But among the fraternity of watch collectors, I think everyone will agree that paying around $8,000 for a steel watch that's distinctive, memorable, and handmade is worthwhile. And that's exactly what you get. In 2008 at Baselworld, this dropped. The caliber 66 Glashütte Original Pano Inverse XL. Stainless steel, 42 millimeters, with a fantastic duplex swan's neck regulator on a double engraved balance bridge. This is probably the closest thing Geo has to a design icon. Now let me wind it up so you can see it in action. What they did was they took 90% of the fascination aesthetically of a tourbillon, and they achieved it for a fraction of the price by moving the balance and the regulator assembly to the dial side. Now you see all of the standards are still represented. You have the 3/4 style bridge. You have pivot jewels set in screw-fixed chaton. You have the hand-engraved balance bridge. You even have a gorgeous engine-turned perlage on the main plate below. But you don't have to take the watch off the wrist to appreciate it. Heck, they even threw in loomed hands and a power reserve. Can we do a little bit better with the focus, guys? Cool. And you can see those are lustrous Glashütte stripes. Those are striping. Those are not Geneva waves. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'll show you the back of the watch just because. But the bottom line is that once you've seen the back of the watch, you'll agree with me that other than the black polish of the caps on the back, all of the action is on the front side of this watch. And again, this is a watch you can pick up for around $8,000 pre-owned. Would you rather have this or an Explorer 2? That's a valid question, guys. No, they're not the same style or the same thing. But if you want the most fascination, you want the most finish, you want the most individuality, and you want a watch that really no one else is going to have, you got to go with this over almost anything. This is as distinctive as any Richard Mille, as any Grubel Forsey. And again, the advantage of a tourbillon is mostly that you get to see the hairspring in the balance. Okay, here's a tourbillon. Here's the Pano Inverse XL. The difference? Well, this one costs about $60,000. This one costs about $8,000 pre-owned. I rest my case. If you got to have the black and white cookie watch, it's this guy. But if you want something spectacular, you got to consider this. Okay. So I see Eric Nielsen saying, I'd rather have the Pano Inverse, no question. Red Bull, Tim, I emailed you. Alex from your sales department can also fill you in. Red Bull, we're going to take care of you. I promise you that. We're real folks, and we're responsive on this end, and not just when we're giving away swag. All right. Hachi Zenki saying, the Pilot series is too big for casual use. I was going to have a 5002 big Pilot on the table tonight. That was going to be my IWC until I found this in the vault. I think I represented, but all the same, guys. I had many options from IWC. We're going to have to do a Schaffhausen show. Between Moser and IWC, I could put 30 watches on the table tonight. Okay, Kiki Fries saying the front of the watch that's on the Pano Inverse XL looks like the back, and that's a good thing. Russell Washington saying Geo all day. That's in my response to my query, would you rather have a regular steel Rolex or the Pano Inverse for the same money? All right, let's take a look at what we got on the table. Let's say you don't want to spend a lot of money for a sports watch, but you want German watchmaking, and you want to go a little bit off the beaten path. Well, the NOMOS Club Datum is for you. The NOMOS Club Datum is a 38.5 millimeter watch with a date, with handsome shocks of red on the dial side, and it's a wonderful opaline matte silver dial. And then on the back, you get a gorgeous little DUW 4101. 42-hour power reserve, manually wound. This combination of crown wheel and ratchet wheel is actually hand finished. They have one guy at the NOMOS manufacturer in Glashütte who just makes those wheels. You can see beautiful Glashütte stripes. You can see the perlage beneath the balance on the base plate, and you can see that the screws are true kiln-fired oxidized blue, not dyed. Now, you get all of this with 100-meter water resistance. So a very versatile watch under 10 millimeters thick. I actually measured this one at just about 8.8 millimeters thick. So some folks were saying German watches are thick. Not this one. You also get a gorgeous Horween American horse leather strap that's also handmade in Germany. So you get the best of both worlds, American leather and German craftsmanship. You get a watch that's compact like a dress watch and understated, with a few flashes of color to remind you that NOMOS is the German brand that cracks the smile. And of course you get 100 meters water resistance, so if you were to throw this on a NATO or a rubber strap, you would be good to go for fun in the sun. I don't know if you want to take a dip in the Rhine this time of year, but I can guarantee you when you finally sojourn out from Central Europe to perhaps the Italian or French Riviera, you'll represent the fatherland in high style with this NOMOS Glashütte Club Datum. Okay. Friends, let's pick a winner. Horsehide Hachizenki, yes, it is Shell Cordovan, which was picked specifically by NOMOS founder Roland Schwertner because he saw the strap on a watch as he was starting the company in 1994, and he said, that's what I want that strap. He's not a watchmaker, he's not a designer, he's not an engineer, he's a businessman, but that was the one decision he concretely made at the beginning that has stayed with the brand ever since. Okay, Alex Rosa saying, I want that IWC. I want that IWC too. You're lucky I'm on like a JLC kick for a couple of years. Once I get that minute repeater, all bets are off and every brand is fair game. Okay guys, let's pick a winner. I can see Philip Sebastian saying, Mulle Glashütte made some big and fun sports watches for the German Rescue Service. We got a lot of German sports watches to talk about in the future. We will talk about Mulle Glashütte in the future. They will be on this program. Tom Hung saying, I do love JLC watches. Yes, but let's not talk about JLC now. It's the only time I'm going to say that. Let's focus on German watches, and let's pick a winner to receive our final giveaway of the night. Okay, Alex Rosa, congratulations. You are winning what I've put together and referred to as my Geo Starter Kit. If you're just getting started with Glashütte Original, you're going to need a fine loop, and this is what you'll be getting, a combination of beautiful dark-grained wood, leather-wrapped, with a Umo German-made pen. This thing is hefty. This thing actually weighs as much as a luxury watch in its own right. And you're getting a gorgeous Geo polishing cloth. Again, because a fine watch deserves a fine polishing cloth to match. From me to you, Alexander Rosa, congratulations. Well, guys, remember, if you continue to send your name, your physical mailing address, and your phone number even after the show, I'm going to continue entering you in the pool for the next drawing. So in between shows, you can still enter my drawing, and I give away at least 4 things per show. So every week, you've got 4 chances to win. Again, if you've already entered, you're already in. Don't be that guy. Okay. So Hachizenking asking, no Glashütte Original Sport Evos on the table tonight. No, the Sport Evo was a mid to late 2000s Geo sports watch line. The Sport Evo Impact actually featured elastomer shock absorbers inside the case. They even made a tourbillon version that you could, do a Mosso and throw off the table. Those were spectacular watches. Again, that's going to have to be reserved for German Watches Part 2. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to shout out everyone: Eric, Kiki, Alex, Grim BB. Is it only U.S. citizens who can enter the giveaway? No, and we once famously shipped, I think it was like a polishing cloth to Denmark for like $120. The craziest thing ever, but I drew the guy's name, and fair is fair. If you win, you're in. So you don't have to be a U.S. citizen or even in the continental North America to win. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us for our first ever German watch show. I appreciate everyone who came into the chat box, who participated, who entered the raffle, who gave me feedback, and even those who advised us on how we could do better and do better by our clients. Red Bull, I'm going to get to you, man. So I want to remind you all that the language of love this Valentine's Day is German. And from me to you, ich liebe dich. And I hope I didn't mangle the German language too badly. I love you all. Thank you so much. I'm Tim. This is Watchbox. They're the amigos, and thanks for logging on.